Indian Army responded to unprovoked small arms firing by Pakistani troops across the line of control during the night on May 5th and 6th. This comes amid the rising tensions between India and Pakistan after the heinous Pahalgam terror attack. Pakistani troops continued ceasefire violations along the LoC for the 12th consecutive night with unprovoked firings in Kupwara, Baramulla, Poonch, Rajouri, Mendhar, Nowshera, Sundarbani and Aknoor in areas of Jammu and Kashmir. But viewers, now let's take you through Pakistan's many ceasefire violations that we have been seeing in the past 10 to 11 days, that we have been seeing that these ceasefire violations have been taking place. And it started in localized area, but it spanned across. And now we're seeing that the several sectors are being attacked right now. And Indian Army obviously is responding to them quite appropriately and proportionately. Let's talk about the first time that it happened in Lipa Valley. It's you can see that how far it is from the line of control. So this was one of the first time that this ceasefire violation took place. It happened on 25th. And we have seen now that it has been almost 12 days that the Pakistan ceasefire violation continues. On paper, there is a ceasefire, but we've been seeing that Pakistan has been violating the ceasefire for at least 12 days. And when we're talking about 26th, it happened in Neelam and Tutmari Gali, and these two places were, so you can see now there's a progression that we're seeing of the ceasefire violation. Next up, 27th, Kupwara and Poonch. So the areas, they have been changing. It started from here and now it's going to Kupwara and Poonch. So obviously we can see that there's a change in pattern that we have been seeing, and this happened in the wake of Pahalgam terror attack. And Pakistan continues to violate. From here, we can see the progression. From 29th, we're now seeing it that has happened in Nowshera, Aknoor and in Sundarbani. 3 places now. It started with the first place, that was Lipa Valley, and now we're seeing 3 places there's a ceasefire violation in 3 places. Again, it happened in Kupwara, Baramulla and Aknoor. So new places are being targeted by Pakistan in the ceasefire violation continues. And another place that is added, Uri, it happened on on 1st, and this we are seeing it happened in Kupwara, Aknoor, Uri. Next up on 2nd, we saw in Kupwara, Baramulla, Poonch, Nowshera, Aknoor. So again, you can see the progression that is taking place. It started with Lipa Valley, but now we're seeing the different places. There's Kupwara, Uri, Aknoor, that is happening on the 3rd that we saw. And these things continue, the ceasefire violations continue. On 4th, we saw Baramulla, Kupwara, Poonch, Nowshera, Aknoor and Sundarbani. So these progressions are to be noted, and all of these places are near line of control. And the 5th where we are seeing is Kupwara, Baramulla, Poonch, Mendhar, Nowshera, Aknoor, Sundarbani, and also now there's Rajouri as well. So new places, we can see now there's Mendhar as well, and Rajouri has been added to that as well. Again, when we're talking about 6th, you can see these places have been targeted. Kupwara, Baramulla, Poonch, Mendhar, Nowshera, Aknoor, Rajouri and Sundarbani. These places have been targeted. These ceasefire violations now span across different sectors in Jammu and Kashmir. So when we are talking about that, these ceasefire violations, also the timing of this, we are also seeing that the Indian Army has been responding to it in an appropriate manner, in a collaborated manner. They have been responding to that. Major General Anuj Mathur, I'd like your opinion on this. When we're talking about ceasefire violations, they have been happening for at least 12 days, consecutive days. There's an on paper, we have been seeing that there's a ceasefire, but the violations have been increasing. They started with Lipa Valley, but now the progression is, it has reached to different parts. From localized, they span across several sectors in Aknoor, Rajouri, Sundarbani and Kupwara, Baramulla, Uri, all of these places. And also at the same time, we are also seeing there have been missile tests that have been also happening. In 2 days, there have been second missile tests that happened in Pakistan. So how do you think these situation currently we're seeing between India and Pakistan, the tension that we're seeing, what exactly is your opinion when we're talking about these ceasefire violation?
Riya, I will tell you the India and Pakistan, they share a 3,300 kilometers of international border, 740 kilometers of line of control, and about 110 kilometers of AGPL, that's actual ground position line along the Siachen Glacier. Now, there is a difference between the IB sector, that is 3,300 kilometers, and the line of control. I'll tell you the difference. People should know. The difference is in the line of control, since you are controlling, any gainers are keepers along the line of control. That is the fundamental difference. There have been instances when we have gained and returned also. I have no reason to explain that. We can talk about it some other time. Now, the ceasefire, international border sector, IB sector, they cannot activate, because if they activate IB sector, that would amount to a war. You cannot fire across the international border. Hence, they are concentrating on firing across the line of control. Now, when I say line of control is always occupied, you are sitting eyeball to eyeball right throughout the 740 kilometers. And when I said gainers are keepers, I mean that even if that point on ground is not tactically very sound, but you occupy it no matter. Why? Because that cannot be allowed to be given to the enemy. One. So, when you see this pattern, you will find that most of these violations take place where they feel that they are in a better position, and response is accordingly. Now, second thing, there are standard points from where the infiltrations do take place. So most ceasefire violations from Pakistan side take place and in the places where they have to push people in for infiltration too. So that pattern you will be able to see in this. But as of now, 12th consecutive day, it hasn't happened after Shimla agreement. The 12th consecutive day it has been violated. The point is, this is the only place where they can fire and not escalate it into a all-time full scale war. They are scared of escalation. I'll come to that later. Now, our response. Indian Army's response has been very, very measured. We are giving a very measured and calibrated response. The reason is we are not interested in escalating when on a provocation by Pakistan. Escalation, if it has to take place from our side, it will be at our terms, at the time and place of our choosing. So that is second. That explains the kind of the thing which we are reply that we are giving to these ceasefire violations.